Chargers went for it on a 4th and 1 from the 29 and didn't get it. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. The Chargers and Bradon Staley have luckily has his job for him. This is lucky. Here we go. Chargers are going to blow it again. And because Bradon Staley didn't punt it from his own 29, but Kirk Cousins saved him. As he saved his job, he threw it in the end zone for interception, first down. Before that, Bradon Staley was 1 4th down away. Bradon Staley was one successful drive from the 29 away from losing his job. Why would you do that, Bradon Staley? Why? You can't do that. You've got to punt the ball when you're up 4 with less than 2 minutes to go. Just punt the ball. You've got the game won. And then your defense makes it stop. Don't you trust your defense? Here's Colin Cowherd with more on The Herd Monday through Friday on Fox Sports 1.
The former USC star in a good mood these days. 11 NFL seasons. He's also every morning on Undisputed in studio. Keyshawn Johnson is now joining us on the show. Hopefully Keyshawn is a regular on our show. You know, on our show, you don't have to wear a tie. We're a little more casual. You're very professional this morning, and we appreciate it.
I literally came out of the dressing room.
That's okay. You look good.
My
Go ahead
kids
and move that
and
mic
family
up.
was here. Kids and family and all of them was here, so, you know, I was chilling.
All right. So I want to ask you about this. Coaches tend to say, I trust my players. I get it. But if you're going to go for it at your own 24 and you haven't run the ball, 11 carries, 12 yards all day for Joshua Kelly, then you got to get it to Keenan Allen, to Justin Herbert. Forget the fact of going for it. Most of us don't love it. Couldn't I argue, get the ball to your best players in the biggest moments? He picked the wrong guy, a backup running back.
Look, it doesn't matter if it's a backup running back, a starting running back, or whoever. That moment in that time, there was nowhere for him to go. Where could he go? He ran right up the back. First of all, it was a bad play. Okay? The selection of the play was bad, even though it was only a yard. You could do something different to get that yard. You could have some sort of misdirection. You don't want to toss the ball in that situation because therefore you're going backwards, but you can naked bootleg. You can do something that would allow you to get that yard. The hole wasn't there. They didn't get any push. So therefore they were dominated. In terms of the trusting your guy, what else you going to say? I trust you. What else am I going to say? I don't trust you anymore. That's just the reality of it.
Now, no timeouts left. You punt to Kirk Cousins, $150 left. Increasingly in that game, as you saw, Chargers were getting great pressure.
Yeah.
Isn't that the better bet?
The best bet. So, okay. Often, many times in professional sports, and even collegiate sports or sports in general, the coaches think they're smarter than everybody else. They're going to be geniuses because they sit up here and they listen to you call them a genius. They say me call them a genius. So they start to buy into this theory. I'm a great defensive coordinator. I'm a genius. And I can do it this way. Punt the damn ball, man. What the hell's wrong with you? Just punt the ball. 0 timeouts, as you mentioned.
None.
0 timeouts. Punt the ball, make them go 80 yards to score 7.
That's right.
Not 3. 7. You know how hard that is to do in the National Football League? False start, you back them up. Holding, you back them up. Drop ball, clock stop. It's all those sort of things.
I think they're the most penalized team in the league, Minnesota.
Yeah,
so they beat themselves. So you have an offense that's been beating themselves all year, an immobile quarterback that increasingly is getting bad protection. It made no sense to me.
It made zero, but he's going to try to make it make sense by trying to convince you, I trust my defense, I trust my offense more because it was a 4 points, not 3 points. If it was 3 points, maybe it changes what I think. No kidding. If it was 3 points and you gave them the ball, you'd be fired immediately on the tarmac, much like Lane Kiffin, because they'll go right now, kick a field goal, tie the game up, and take it into overtime and you'll lose. So, yeah, you'll get fired. That is how that goes. But he tries to convince everybody that he did the right thing. It was the probably the stupidest thing ever. Now, a guy like me and some other players that I played with in my career, we wouldn't have had. I can only imagine Brian Cox playing with B. Cox if he would have allowed that to happen. Brian Cox would have been like, "Are you out of your damn mind?" Same with me. I would have said to him, even though I'm on the offensive side of the ball, I said, "Man, you don't punt that. The hell's wrong with you?" But sometimes you don't have players like that on your team, and he knows the pulse of the team, so he's going to do that instead of being overwritten by a player and saying, "Man, what are you doing? They have no timeouts. Why are you making this decision?" And it makes a coach now think, like, "Yeah, you're probably right. You know what? Let's just kick it."
Right.
Eagles and Anyways, that's Sam Von Smack. Eagles beat the Buccaneers last night. It wasn't even a game as the offense and defense looked much better. Or the offense looked just as good as they have and maybe a little less, but the defense stood up. Jalen Hurts wasn't as good as he only had 1 touchdown, 2 picks, but DeAndre Swift was good through the air, run, 130, and A.J. Brown was good through the air. Brown had 131 yards on 8 receptions. Baker was only 146 and a touchdown. Final was 25-11. The Bengals and Rams. The Bengals were questionable was Joe Burrow, but he did play. The Rams defense hold up against the Bengals in the first half 6-6. It was a defensive game and a sloppy game at that. Joe Burrow was playing hurt, so he didn't look as good. To start the second half, the Rams got a field goal to go up. The Bengals got a touchdown to go ahead 14-9. And then to make it 8, a bang off the field goal post, or if you want to call it a dong off the field goal post, you can call it that. Final was 16-13. Rams scored late, but it wasn't enough. The onside kick was recovered. For the numbers, there was Joe Burrow with 259 and 1 INT. Jamar Chase, 141. Matt Stafford, for the Rams, he threw 269 and 2 INTs. One of them came in the key part of a game. Want to go through the college games quickly. 34-27, Mizzou over Memphis. Vanderbilt plays Missouri. Kick is at 3 o'clock. SEC. That would be big if they win. If they win this game, they would be 5-0 going into LSU. BYU beats KU 38-27. Many fans wish the defense was better, but we'll see. Against Kansas versus Texas, this will be a hard game for win. Kick is at 2:30. Injury report update. Jalen Hurts had flu-like symptoms during the Eagles' victory, and Jason Kelsey had the same. They could be under the weather or have COVID. There is no longer a mandatory testing. Players and staff, regardless of vaccination status, doesn't matter to do testing. However, teams are expected to identify a space inside the club facility to accommodating at least 10 mesa docs for anyone who reports symptoms. Joe Burrow said there were no setbacks for his game last night when he had a strained calf, while the Saints head coach Dennis Allen characterized David Carr's sprained AC joints week to week. Be cautious with its quarterback. It'd be surprising for the Saints against the Bucs this week. Mike Williams of the Chargers tore his ACL. He is out for the season. That's it for big injuries. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Check out Adam Schefter on Twitter for more on injuries. This is Sam Vaughn.